The state of Vermont is breaking new ground, taking on the oil industry. The legislature passed a bill requiring fossil fuel companies to pay for damages they say are caused by climate change. The first state in the U.S. to make such a move. This nearly 1 year after Vermont suffered catastrophic flooding, which washed out roads and bridges, caused mudslides, and resulted in consequential property loss of homes and businesses. For too long, giant fossil fuel companies have knowingly lit the match of climate disruption without being required to do a thing to put out the fire, said Paul Burns, executive director of the Vermont Public Interest Research Group. Finally, maybe for the first time anywhere, Vermont is going to hold the companies most responsible for climate-driven floods, fires, and heat waves financially accountable for a fair share of the damages they've caused. Vermont Republican Governor Phil Scott allowed the bill to become law without his signature, saying though he understands the desire to seek payments from oil companies, he's concerned. Taking on big oil should not be taken lightly, and with just $600,000 appropriated by the legislature to complete an analysis that will need to withstand intense legal scrutiny from a well-funded defense, we are not positioning ourselves for success, Scott wrote in a letter to the General Assembly. The law requires the Vermont State Treasurer to provide a report by January 2026 on the cost of greenhouse gases on the state from January 1st, 1995 to December 31st, 2024. The state will create a Climate Superfund cost recovery program, which would find so-called responsible parties and use the revenue for climate change projects. Those projects could include updating roads, bridges, and railroads, upgrading stormwater systems and sewage treatment plants, among others. The American Petroleum Institute responded in a statement saying, the Vermont law retroactively imposes costs and liability on prior activities that were legal, violates equal protection and due process rights by holding companies responsible for the actions of society at large, and is preempted by federal law. Though Vermont is the first in the nation to pass this kind of law, New York, Massachusetts, and Maryland are considering similar legislation. For Straight Arrow News, I'm Lauren Taylor. If you want more stories just like this one, download the Straight Arrow News app or visit SAN.com.